to the K.
To the K.
To the K.
Hello, one and all. Welcome to the A to the K Wrestling Show. And coming up tonight on the Ringside Report. The Wyatt 6 members revealed.
Is Tony Khan siding with the Elite over CM Punk?
Is Triple H open to a CM Punk return?
Has Shawn Michaels confirmed plans for 2 international NXT shows, even though I put 4 fingers up because I'm boss like that?
King of the Ring apparently making his return soon.
Nikki Ash is gone and Nikki Cross is back.
He's back, baby. Chavo Guerrero set for a major movie role. His role probably won't be major, but he's set for a role.
He's involved in a major
movie.
film.
Yeah.
WWE are finally dropping the T-Bar gimmick.
Austin Theory set to put his Money in the Bank contract on the line.
Good brothers are being bad brothers for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And Anthony, when is all this coming up?
It's all coming up right fucking now.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
So, the Wyatt family. The Wyatt 6.
The Wyatt 6.
Bray.
Are we confident as faction yet?
I don't know. Apparently, according to the headline of this thing, we are. So, we got to see on SmackDown, we got to see Uncle... I always call him Uncle Happy. What's he called?
Uncle Howdy.
Uncle Howdy, that's it.
So he was watching a lot of Toy Story.
He was, basically. Yeah. Interestingly, I can see Woody over there.
The doll.
So yeah, Uncle Howdy made his appearance on SmackDown this week, and led to a lot of people speculating, well, this is the first member of the Wyatt 6. Now, I don't think anybody truly knows exactly what this is. A lot of people speculating it could be 6 of Bray Wyatt's personalities all come together, and that's the Wyatt 6, so on and so forth. However,
still sounds like a Western.
It does. Well, how about the Circle?
Well, that reality show.
Yeah, that one. So that is also an apparent name for this faction, if it is indeed a faction. So basically, what we're saying is, nobody really knows for sure. But we saw Uncle Howdy, and a lot of people are speculating now that this is one of either Dutch or Vincent, who are 2 people from the Ring of Honor scene. I think we've seen them in TNA as well. Impact. And so apparently these are 2 new people to WWE that we are going to get to see. And the tag team within the Wyatt 6. So we have them. There's also heavy speculation that Bo Dallas is set for a WWE return. Obviously joining up with his brother, which will be for the first time actually acknowledged. Roman Reigns, acknowledge me. We're going to acknowledge it.
He's always had the potential, hasn't he? Like, they've never really had the right opportunity, but he's always had the potential to be a star. And I think with a bit of guidance from Bray, I think that could work.
Yeah, I mean, the Bo Leave stuff got over, Super and NXT. So we will see what it does on the main roster.
I was a Bo Leaver when he got with Liv. You believe you can achieve.
Everybody should believe that that guy can get with Liv. So we have Vincent and Dutch, we have Bo Dallas, and then where do we go from here? Now, I don't think Braun Strowman is going to be involved in any way, shape, or form.
I think that's the right call.
He seems to be doing his own thing. He seems to have moved on.
Really busy, kind of fighting Omos.
Kind of, maybe. But
that battle of who's taller, hey.
But you did mention Liv Morgan, so obviously she's gone down the crazy route of late. So a lot of people have speculated maybe she will also join this faction. Obviously, she is married. I don't think she's married. She's with Bo Dallas, obviously part of the actual Wyatt family in real life. So there is that. And then the final 2 slots, I think a lot of people are kind of thinking, is it Bray and alternate Bray? So will we see 2 different Bray Wyatts? Will we see the Bray Wyatt we see on TV today, and will we see a different Bray Wyatt, and he is also 2 members of the Wyatt 6?
So Bray is Uncle Howdy?
I mean, maybe. So it's interesting. A lot of people are going that way. I think a few people have said maybe they're going to bring in the Rotunda family, or Barry Windham or people like that into the fray as well. But I think ultimately
into the fray with Bray.
But nobody really knows for sure, basically. But I think a lot of the
so to answer the question, we don't know.
Yeah. Identities revealed? No. But I think a lot of people are, very, very sure that Vincent and Dutch are going to be part of this. I think Bray is real life friends with them as well outside of the promotion. So that
real life friends.
Real life friends.
The best kind.
They're the best kind. And obviously we've had Uncle Howdy, we've had Uncle Brody, both of them trademarked. So
interesting.
Could be some kind of homage to Brody Lee, of course, but yeah. So it seems like Vincent and Dutch are going to take up those two spots. I think Liv Morgan is an easy assumption. Bo Dallas is an easy assumption, but then it's like, well, what do we do? Where do we go from here? Now, I think Zero News or a few other people have kind of speculated that we are going to get to see the Wyatt 6 versus the Bloodline at Survivor Series. I can't personally see it at this stage, because I think even if it, is true, there's a Wyatt 6 and Bray Wyatt is going to, make a stand or whatever, I don't think you can come out of the Survivor Series with Roman looking strong.
I think the Bloodline I've thoroughly enjoyed. And honestly, the inclusion of Sami Zayn has kept that like it could have actually got a little bit dull by now, but the inclusion of Sami Zayn has been great. And I'm sure Bray in the factions he's had in the past and what he'll do with this again will be fantastic. But do we really want the waters muddied for if they have a match? It should just be straight them versus like Roman versus him. I don't want the factions involved.
Yeah,
maybe initial shenanigans when they're setting up, but I don't want it to be like a faction war. I want it to be them two having a match. I think it gets a little too messy at that point.
I think that's why it feels like it won't happen. You know what I mean? Because like Bray's come back, and then if we have some kind of multi-man match thing take place, it's like. So exactly, I think ultimately, if Bray's going to come back and go for the title, you want to see Bray versus Roman. You don't want to see faction wars.
It seems quite like from everything that's being speculated, no one's really talking about the Fiend. Like I know we had the Fiend mask, but we also had a lot of the Firefly stuff there. Do you think this could be the end of the Fiend? Do you think we'll ever see the Fiend again?
I think a lot of people thought when we had Bray's return, we saw all the different kind of masks and puppets and all that kind of shit come to life. Everyone was like, each of them's going to be a real character. I actually think it is the end of each of them. I think it's going to be... So, I mean, it's either going to be Bray has got 6 personalities and he's like...
Trying to count them, that like in terms of what we've seen, we've got Swampy Bray.
Swampy Bray.
Fiendy
Bray.
Firefly Bray.
Firefly Bray. Husky Harris.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting close to 6. Like, he has to introduce a couple more,
Current Bray and the mask guy.
Yeah, whoever that is.
6. So, yeah,
I mean, they need better names than we've given them, but...
I mean, well, yeah. What's wrong with Husky Harris, I think,
That's true.
Not a name anyone gave them, but WWE. So, yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people think it could be in his head. It couldn't actually be real people. I think a lot of people also think that it's going to be 6 people and we're going to get to see some kind of Survivor Series shenanigans.
War games.
So we will see, but yeah. Are they revealed? No, basically.
No, they're not.
Clickbaited to the fuck.
Ha! So, speaking of speculation, Karl, I will be clear from the off, this is speculative. There's still a lot of silence on the matter, but a lot of people recall what happened over the whole media scrum and controversy subsequent. People got bit. We're not blaming anyone. Everyone's suspended except for Ace Steel, who doesn't work for the company anymore.
We're not saying any names.
But Wade Keller of Pro Wrestling Torches spoke on this and has talked about Tony Khan and his potential side of the fence, and he seems to heavily believe that Tony Khan is siding more with the Bucks and the Elite than CM Punk, which is an interesting one. And he has been clear that this isn't something he's got inside information on. It's not something that Tony's told him. It's just based on the general vibe, if you will. Okay. The interesting thing is, he said that Tony is still very interested in Punk from a creative standpoint. From the matches that potentially could happen that haven't happened yet and that sort of thing. There's still a lot of potential there with Punk that he would love to explore. But it seems that if he has to make the choice, then it's going to be Omega and the Bucks, which is interesting. And the suggestion, obviously, I slightly joked it before, but Ace Steel being released would suggest that is the side of the fence they're leaning on.
Yeah, possibly. It's mad, really, because Tony is a massive CM Punk mark. Let's be honest.
He let him go rogue on a media scrum.
He loves Pink. Punk. He fucking loves Punk.
I mean, like Pink.
He likes Pink as well. She's good. But yeah, so it's interesting to think that he would ever, disregard Punk to side with the Elite. So,
well, if Punk goes to WWE, then I don't think he'd be a fan of Punk anymore.
I mean, yeah, that is true. But he's got a lot more fucking money than people.
He does have more fucking money.
It is interesting to say the least. I think the investigation that's underway is apparently going to come to a close pretty soon, and hopefully we get some answers either way. A lot of people seemingly don't want Punk back in AEW, but yeah, Tony seems to be a massive mark. I fucking loved him. So
the thing is, like, a lot of people don't want Punk back, and it was a bit of a rant and a bit unprofessional. Like, I'm not bothered if he comes back. I feel like he can, like, the main thing needs to happen is that this shit needs to be settled one way or the other. You can't come back and then them all still hate each other and refuse to work together and all that kind of bullshit. If they've all put it to bed and they all come back, I'm fine with that. It's the continuation of this fucking nonsense, really, that I don't want.
Yeah. It's mad. I think somebody posted the media scrum like a year ago versus now, and it was like Punk is like, I'm so happy to be here and I fucking love this wrestling. And then it's like, what a difference a year makes, because now he's like, I fucking hate it. So
what was in them muffins?
What was in there? Yeah, no, he fucking promoted it so much that you have to kind of question, don't you? Was it them that turned him rogue? But to add fire to flames, what's the thing? Fuel to the fire. Fuel to the fire.
Through the fire and the flames.
Yeah, I don't know.
Even like through the darkest days.
Yeah. Okay, it all works. It all works. Yeah. But yeah, so apparently Triple H is actually not super against the idea of Punk returning to WWE.
I love the way the news is at the minute. He's not super against the idea.
I mean, he's not said I fucking hate that guy. So basically, what we're saying is
he hasn't said he wants him.
But by all accounts, I think Triple H and a lot of people in WWE at the minute just want to create compelling TV. And so whatever that means, whoever that involves, that's what they're going to do. And yeah, a lot of people then have speculated to say, well, CM Punk mustn't be off the table because at the end of the day, Triple H has said, everyone's got a price, $1 million man, and everybody, can, contribute in some way, shape, or form. So it's whether or not it adds something in the right way to WWE. Triple H may be open to it, but obviously it's well documented. Phil Brooks and Paul Levesque have got some,
unfinished business,
some real life beef, and I don't know. I can't see him going back.
Why would he want him?
Well, yeah. To be fair, WWE may want him because of how much kind of ruckus and how much attention he brought to AEW. So it might just be a massive fuck you to them. The fact we can't get him.
Would you want to hire him based on how he's like? You wouldn't want to hire him as a talent if he's going to continue to act like you have to.
Well, to be fair, I think the discussions originally were that it wouldn't be a full-time talent, it'd be for a few special appearances, and also
you're Goldberg now.
Factoring in, does Punk need it? So I think his contract was like $3.5 million for the year or something, and apparently Tony Khan's going to buy that out. So
God, I'd love to live in that. Tony, can you do me a favor, right? Hire me, right? I'll embarrass you in the media scrum as well, and you can definitely buy me out. I'm fine with that. Like, that's not a bad day's work, that is it?
Yeah, pretty bad
business. So he makes a really awkward situation for you in this media scrum, and then you pay him for that.
Yeah, not ideal.
I understand.
So yeah, will Punk be returning to WWE? I can't see it.
I would be very surprised.
Apparently, it's not off the table.
Apparently, those close to Triple H have said that it's not going to happen. We'll see. I got that from the voices in my head just now.
Okay.
Also, the voices. No, that's it. So the next one, Karl, and it's another one that makes me laugh. Shawn Michaels has confirmed. Shawn Michaels has confirmed he wants this, right? What he's actually said is it's not up to him, but it seems heavily in the works, and I think this has come from more than just Shawn Michaels. It's come from like before this, that with NXT UK stopping, and they're going to be looking at NXT Europe, they're going to be looking at branching out even further. It seems a dead set now that we're going to get an NXT Japan and an NXT Mexico. What Shawn Michaels has been quoted saying in the media call relating to Halloween Havoc was that he would love the idea of branching further out. He'd love the idea of branching further out, like touring with NXT, getting out of Orlando, and touring in that sense. But he did say they need to get this premium live events out of the way. They need to sort of see the success of that and then go from there. But ultimately, the book doesn't stop with Shawn. But Shawn loves the idea, so he's running the show with NXT now, and if that's what he wants, and he's got the ear of the right people, then hopefully we can see NXT. Not just, NXT Japan, NXT Europe, NXT Mexico, but hopefully we can see the NXT brand we have now doing a little bit of touring around the US as well.
I mean, it'd be nice to see the brand we have now put on good shows. To be fair,
maybe
that would be nice. But yeah, I mean, obviously bias, but I think NXT Europe should be the focal point. I think we,
yeah.
They had
it should be based in the UK.
They had a very successful UK operation going on, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna sack that off. I'm gonna do it NXT Europe, but now they're trying to go for Japan and Mexico. I think they had a roster of people there, very talented people, and they decided to stop that for whatever reason. I don't know. I think get Europe sort of first, get the roster built up, and then we'll see about expansions. But I don't know. It's interesting because obviously, are they in cahoots with New Japan? Because obviously everything going on with. I
mean, I've got some stuff to report later that might suggest they're not.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. But it seems like they were in, getting into bed with New Japan, but now maybe not. So, yeah, starting their own promotion would be the worst.
I mean, would you get in bed with New Japan if that's what you're going to do? Like, look at what they did to the UK wrestling scene. In all fairness, like companies closed because NXT UK come along. So
yeah, it's interesting to say the least. So the next one, I'm fucking buzzing about.
Have you put that up just a K for Karl? Is that what that is?
Yeah, me. I'm the king. So anyone
King Karl gimmick just for this show.
Anybody who has watched this over the past couple of years will know what a massive fan I am of King of the Ring. And according
the tournaments, not the gimmick.
Well, yeah, that is very fucking clear to say. I hate the way that's become the thing now. Like
you win,
you won the King of the Ring, so now
gimmick.
You're actually a king, and we're going to destroy you.
It's better winning Money in the Bank because you get something out of it. King of the Ring, you get a trophy and a shit gimmick.
Yeah, not ideal. But apparently they are going to bring this
Jerry,
back.
By the way.
So, well, depending on who you believe. So this has come from Uncle Dave at Wrestling Observer, and he has said that in spite of things like Hell in a Cell and other pay-per-views like that, being put out to pasture, if you will, that King of the Ring is actually going to get its return into the spotlight. So I think, obviously, it got cancelled a couple of years ago. I think that was a lot to do with the ratings or lack thereof at the time, and I think Peacock and the WWE Network at the moment are just kind of irrespective of ratings, they're going to put on shows. So
words coming out of you right now.
Well, yeah. Triple H is very clear that he wants to bring this back by all accounts, and
of course he does. It's Triple H.
Well,
it's the King of Kings.
He is a former King of the Ring.
He's crowned himself the King of Kings. No matter who wins, he's the King of Kings.
This is true. He should have won it in 96, but obviously Austin won it because of the whole click thing. So he won it in 97, so it holds a bit of a
Adam Sandler movie.
Probably. He's done that many.
Click. Why would that have him lose King of the Ring?
Yeah, so Triple H farted in David Hasselhoff's face. Did you not see that? So yeah, I think King of the Ring potentially coming back, and I am all for it. I think also Queen of the Ring is going to take place. I know they did the Queen's Crown.
The Queen's Crown tournament.
The Queen's Crown tournament. I think it will be Queen of the Ring. I think they will do kind of although how do you position that? You have a pay-per-view called King of the Ring, and it's like, and also the women. So
King and Queen of the Ring.
Yeah. So it's a bit like, what do you do?
Trouble is, King of the Ring is like it's a synonymous name, isn't it? It's got like a lot of history in wrestling.
It rhymes.
WWE should I say?
Rhymes.
But like you say, it's not very inclusive. Unless you go off that whole thing, like there's this new thing now, like, and I'm behind the times, so apologies because I'm going to sound like a dinosaur when I say this. But
Heard this new thing.
Like, but you look at like the new Thor film. That's hard to say, isn't it?
The new Thor film.
And they had like Valkyrie was king, she wasn't a queen, and it's like
Taya Valkyrie was it?
Yeah, she's king. Well, my point is, like, the title of king, there seems to be like, well, it doesn't have to apply to a bloke. So, do we need a Queen's Crown tournament, or could you have a King of the Ring tournament for the men and for the women? Like the Owen?
I think we need a queen.
Oh, whatever.
Maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm behind the times.
Maybe I'm old.
But I think we need a king and a queen. So we'll see. But the main thing is, potentially he's coming back.
And the bright side is, Selena Vega's not doing the queen thing now, is she? Like, she's come back. Much more Selena than she used
I think Xavier Woods might be, but he's just not on TV. So
he's just at home. That was his scepter, by the way.
Just at home. Anyway.
So, Karl, Nikki Ash is back.
Is she?
Yeah. No, Nikki Ash is gone.
Oh.
Nikki Cross is back. She's now cross again. She got really cross last week, and now she's still cross.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of people have noticed on last week's Raw, she had a bit of a mare and took a superhero mask off. I was like, what's the future hold for Nikki? Well, I'm really excited for this because we got to see her sort of basically lay every fucker out on Raw. And she's like, come back. She's been addressed as Nikki Cross. She's not got the superhero gimmick going on. She's laid out big players. She's laid out the likes of Bayley and the like. And I'm like, good. This is good. This is the push I want, and I hope this is where they're going with it. Like, she won the women's title as Nikki Ash and got beaten by Charlotte Flair, as everyone does when they're women's champions. At some point, you're going to get beaten by Charlotte Flair. That's like the rule. But I feel like there's a really good main title run for her in this iteration, which is the one we obviously all know and love.
Well, it's mad. Cool. I forgot you won the belt.
You forgot?
I forgot you won the belt.
I think it was relatively quick because you're like, we're going to put it back on Charlotte because we're scared.
That goes to show
we're scared of
how
change.
Successful that has been. Because I was like, she won the belt.
She won the belt.
But yeah, I think
it was around the time that Doudrop was always involved and shit. I don't hear a call. Like, I don't even know where Doudrop's gone now.
Well, she's there. Like, I think Nikki Cross wearing the jacket was the jacket that Doudrop gave to her. It was like, now I'm gonna be a Nikki. Okay. So yeah, so she's still there, but yeah, I completely forgot. She's there. She's fucking there. So yeah.
Just a bit of good news.
Yeah, I hope it is. Like honestly, I hope it is.
You don't ever make a statement like that without it paying off.
Well, yeah, I think she's been. What's the word to use? She's been just hovering in the women's division for the last couple of years, and I think we've all.
Which is why they started the superhero gimmick. Like, wow, you can float.
Wow. We've all thought that she deserves more. Apparently, a title run which she had. So the more you know.
She should. She did have that. Okay,
that did happen. So she needs more, but with more focus, to say the least. So the next one to talk about, Chavo Guerrero,
Chavo
is apparently set to star in a major motion picture. Now, obviously, we know Chavo has been supporting on The Rock's project, Young Rock,
he has.
As the wrestling coordinator. And so he is also going to be wrestling coordinator on a new film, but he's also going to have a starring role. Now, this is the Iron Claw, which is the Von Erich film we've spoken about previously.
Nice.
And the guy on the right there, looking all sexy, is Zac Efron, who's going to play Kevin Von Erich, I believe. That's Zac Efron. Yeah.
Well, damn, he looks different. In case you wonder why I lean forward, everyone, when it's clearly behind me, it's not behind me in real life, right?
Shh, you're ruining the illusion. But yeah, so Zac Efron's playing Kevin Von Erich, and I have no idea who's playing Kerry Von Erich, who's the most famous.
Zac Efron.
Probably all of them.
Zac's like playing all of them.
Eddie Murphy type situation.
It's like Nutty Professor.
Basically. So I think firstly, it's amazing that this has seen the light of day. Obviously, it's a very tragic story about the Von Erichs.
I mean, it's one that we're going to have to watch. It's like it's a tale that is a very interesting one. Like you say, there's no sort of good outcome for this film.
No, it's such a horrible circumstance for that family. So I think it's probably right to be worthy of like documenting in a in a movie, because it's mad and horrible to see what's happened to that family. But also,
no disrespect to Von Erich, so I think it's crazy getting people like Zac Efron involved as well.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's definitely got a bit of weight behind it. To get Zac, to get Chavo, to get a number of others who names I can't remember,
and the rest.
Other actors. But by all accounts, they're pretty high profile. So yeah,
unless you can't,
unless I don't know the fuck you are. But yeah, I think it's a nice thing to recognize the Von Erichs. I think one of the best wrestling families. You talk about the Hart, you talk about the Anoa'i family, stuff like that. The Von Erichs are up there, and unfortunately, their lives were filled by tragedy. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out on the silver screen. But yeah, Chavo will be in the movie as will Zac Efron.
It's interesting. Like Chavo seems to be making a real career out of this wrestling coordinating, because wasn't he involved in Glow as well?
Yeah, so Glow, he's been Young Rock, and now this. It feels like there's a bit of a niche in Hollywood for wrestling coordinator role.
I'm just gonna stay well away from the joke. Like, there's so much you could try and take the piss out of there. Wouldn't be the first guy in Hollywood who's told men what to. No.
Yeah. Anyway, Epstein.
So Karl, T-Bar, fucking gone now, isn't it? So we saw around the Halloween Havoc stuff. They actually set fire to the T-Bar mask. Now they haven't officially said he's going back to Dominick Dijakovic, but I'm just glad that T-Bar seems to be done. Which is weird because there's been a few matches he had without the mask when he was tag teaming very briefly on SmackDown. So it's not like he was permanently wearing it, but perhaps we're burning the mask. We're really putting down the T-Bar thing now, and it seems like we're going to get a repackage of old Dominick Dijakovic there, so that'd be nice.
It was really interesting. I forgot he was called Dominic. Now there's already a Dominic. Dominic.
He's probably going to join Schism because fuck it, why not?
Shittest name for a faction ever. But yeah, fair play. He apparently did really well on NXT. A lot of people really got behind him. And then obviously, T-Bar. Really.
Let's face it, Retribution was just a fucking disaster for everyone involved. It comes to something when being part of Maximum Male Models is a step up from what you were doing.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Point. Very good point. I kind of forgot everything that went on with Retribution. It was a fucking mad little angle, that one. It was like, we're gonna try and break down the doors. We won't do it, but we'll throw some rocks.
And we were the ones who spent months turning the lights on and off and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so
what the damaging thing really was just like they had. I remember one particular match, and the Fiend was just decimating them all. He was basically making a point oh, you guys can turn lights on and off. Love the shit I can do. Just appearing next to them and fucking ruining them. I was like, yeah, because this is what you are to people. This is what you are. And then we thought maybe they're gonna make it cool when Ali was like, I was the real hacker and leader, and then that never went anywhere.
The hacker was interesting, but the execution.
Well, you love a good mystery.
I do. But yeah, didn't really come to
no follow through. No.
So if you shit yourself, it would have been good. That's what we're saying.
Instead, you just shit the bed.
Shit the bed. Now, speaking of shit in the bed, this is a fascinating one. So obviously, we've got very strong opinions on the Money in the Bank and the misuse, if you will, over the last couple of years. But
yes,
by all accounts, Austin Theory may be set to put the Money in the Bank contract on the line in an upcoming match, and
I'm fucking sick of it.
We thought the same with
can't the guy who wins the fucking case actually use the fucking case?
Well, this first started to happen with Otis, didn't it? And it was like, why has Otis won it? And then they were like, why the fuck did we let Otis win it? And
well, at least this is going to be in a match, because wasn't there some sort of bullshit legal battle that JBL was the judge for some reason?
Of course he was.
And it's like, well, it's Miz's briefcase now. And it's like, what?
Why? So yeah, there was bullshit. All that, but apparently it's not over with. So Austin Theory is set to defend the briefcase or the title.
I'm intrigued because they were heavily hinting that he was going to cash in at NXT and go back down there.
I mean, they've alluded to a lot of things, but I think either way, he's going to cash in. Well, he's going to put the title contract on the line at some point against someone.
But why?
Yeah, well, that's the main thing. Why would you do that unless there was something to be gained? It seems like if he puts that on the line, there's everything to lose, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing for him to...
It's not something he has to defend. Like, the titles you have to defend, so it makes sense why you have matches to defend your title. Yeah. This is a promise of a match for a title, and you're going, well, I'll put that on the line. You don't have to put it on the line. It's your contract.
So it's like, if he defends it and he wins, does he get 2 title opportunities? Like,
he just gets the pat on the back for still having the briefcase. It's just fucking stupid.
So it makes me think, in other words, they've now done what they did with Otis and gone, we've got no idea what we want to do with him as Money in the Bank.
No direction.
So yeah, which will be a massive shame. Now, a lot of people seem to shit on this guy. I still maintain he could be fucking amazing. He's very young. He's got a lot of potential.
Not yet.
I mean, you say not yet. But how old was Cena when he won? How old was Orton? How old was a lot of people? I think Cena's
build was better.
Build?
Yeah.
Really?
Cena come into the scene with his chain gang thug stuff and his whole B squared guy that was with him all the time.
So really?
Built himself up, got popular, won the US title, made the US title fucking awesome. People love the US title.
He won the US title
for like a minute, right?
Like Cena.
Then he actually tried to elevate Carlito before he dropped the title and went to the main event scene. His whole feud with Brock Lesnar was what elevated him to be a main event player. His whole finisher was based on an FU to the F5. Everything was executed much better than Austin Theory, like taking selfies and being a dick.
Nah.
Bullshit, Karl.
I disagree. I think it's been very similar to Cena, to be fair. I think no, I do. I think his kind of rise to prominence has been very similar to John Cena. Whether or not you enjoy him as much is a different question. But I think it's been a very similar kind of trajectory. He's started out, he's got a name for himself. People have been like, oh, who's this guy? He's won the US title. He's got the Money in the Bank. He's got an opportunity.
You can't just tick the boxes like that, though. He hasn't. He won the US title for like, what, a week?
Oh, he still won it.
It's not the same.
So what? So it's basically, he has to F5 Big Show, then he'll be okay in your eyes. What are you saying?
Big Show?
Yeah.
Why Big Show? He's on the other show.
He beat the fucking US, he beat him for the US title.
I suppose the modern day equivalent would be F5 and like Bobby Lashley or someone.
That's easy. I can F5 Bobby Lashley.
Bobby, come here.
But yeah, I don't know. I think he's been harshly done by. I think he still could be a massive, superstar for the future. For WWE.
I will agree with you that he's got potential. I don't see how you can give him the Money in the Bank and expect him to cash in realistically on anyone.
But I mean, well, yeah, based on the circumstances now. But do you then make him lose it?
Based on the circumstances in Cena's day, would you have had him cash in on Brock Lesnar?
Well, there was at least multiple champions. It wasn't just the Roman show. Roman's not losing anytime soon.
Champions? We had Cena.
No. Cena won it eventually.
Who's the other guy?
I don't know. Batista, probably.
Maybe.
There was Big Gold. There was the other one, wasn't it? Whereas now it's like, Roman owns everything. Theory's never beaten Roman. So it's like, so what do you do? Make him lose to someone else who's not going to beat Roman? I don't really care.
I was fine with him going to NXT and getting the NXT title for no reason.
That's fucking stupid. I hate that.
He's where he belongs.
Right. The thing is, right, I would be happy for him to lose and not get the belt. It's a Money in the Bank. It's the opportunity to get the fucking top belt. So, people are there like, why didn't he challenge for this? Why didn't he challenge for the NXT? Why didn't he challenge for the US title? Because it's an opportunity to challenge for any belt you want. You'd go for the main one.
Fair. I will give him credit for one thing, though. I enjoyed all his attempted cash-ins that got thwarted. I was actually enjoying that. Like when Tyson knocked him out at Clash of the Castle and stuff. I was enjoying them. It's a shame that they obviously are going away from that. Like, I was enjoying him desperately trying to cash in. Like, that would have actually been something that I would have happily had them follow through with. Like, it gets to the point where it's like, you've had a year to cash in and you haven't. Like, this is your last chance kind of stuff. And it's like his desperation to cash in without somebody fucking it up for him would have been an actual funny story for me.
Well, that's it. Like, they've got 12 months they can do, any time in that whole period to cash in, and it's like, well, no one's ever left it.
Imagine
till the last minute.
Getting to the next Money in the Bank, and they're like, if you do not cash in tonight, you do not cash in. And
imagine
he's trying his best to cash in at Money in the Bank.
He enters Money in the Bank and wins again.
No,
It's a whole different
okay,
year, another year.
What I would love, I do think that's funny, and that would piss people the fuck off. I would love, right? Imagine he takes that long, he cashes in at Money in the Bank, he fucking wins, and then the Money in the Bank winner comes out and cashes in on him,
and bins him straight away. That would be fucking brutal.
That would be the last bit of the people fucking it up for him. That would just be the last punch.
But like the thing is though, it's so easy to like fan book that kind of thing to make it interesting. It's like,
yeah,
why isn't it interesting?
That's a fair point.
So, yeah.
Well, straight away there, right? That solves two things for me, right? If you did what I've just suggested there, and you have him cash in at Money in the Bank, and then the new Money in the Bank winner cashes in on him, right? Then that we don't have to worry about Money in the Bank for the next year. You don't have to panic. You just have to deal with whoever won the title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like the trouble with this pay-per-view right now is that they are doing it for doing its sake, and they don't always have a direction.
Well, yeah. I mean, so like Hell in a Cell, you know, things like that are all seemingly gone. So I think, I don't know. I preferred this to WrestleMania. It was nice.
I didn't mind Money in the Bank's a pay-per-view, but I'm actually starting to think it might be better as a match that you pull out when you need it, because having one when they haven't really got anyone to put in that position for the last 2 years now is not worth.
Yeah. I mean, you know, similar to like Hell in a Cell, it was like you have to make a feud so, you know, fucking volatile that you have to sell.
Only sell this in a cell.
And it's like,
I just spilt your coffee.
Yeah, it's got to a point now where it's like, well, they've only been fighting for a week. Like, is a Hell in a Cell necessary?
Gone that far already.
So similar with this, yeah. I think you know, bring it out when it is essential, really, to the the whole kind of title picture. Anyway,
I agree.
Like, Austin Theory's got it now, and it's like, well, he challenges Roman, he's getting beat. So what do you do? So yeah, interesting to say the least.
To say the least. Now, I'm going to apologise for this one, Karl, because my link in my notes is about Chavo Guerrero. So
I fucked you over there, didn't I? Talking much yourself.
But no, don't worry about it. I'll vamp. I know what this is about. So Karl Anderson is currently the never openweight champion at New Japan.
Okay.
And people were like, "Whoa, this is weird. He's now back in WWE, and he's currently a champion for New Japan. How's that going to work? I don't think this has ever happened before." I believe it actually had. A lot of people were like, "I don't think it's ever happened before." I believe Shinsuke actually did this. Could be wrong. But a lot of people were like, "What's going to happen with this belt? He's going to have to defend it at some point. You're going to have to drop it at some point. Something's going to have to happen with it." And it turns out he was scheduled to defend this belt, and unfortunately, he was scheduled to defend it at the same time that they've put the Saudi pay-per-view in there, and they've got these two in a match with AJ Styles at the Saudi event.
Yeah.
So basically, in the professional manner that he's done, New Japan have tried to reach out to Karl over this and said, like, well, what's going on? You were meant to be defending this. We don't want to let the fans down, etc. And he's gone, yeah, I'm not answering that. Which is just fucking brilliant, isn't it?
Is it?
So they have had no response from Karl Anderson. And chances are they're going to have to vacate the belt because he's just gone, fuck it, I'm making Saudi money now. Which is crazy to me. Like, I understand, like, so many people are kind of defending this, going, well, you know, it's just business, and WWE are probably not letting him in this, that, and next thing. It's like, not being funny. New Japan was the company that basically made it. Like, he was nothing in WWE. He had to build himself up, much like Cody, much like Finn Balor, much like all these people who made themselves big in New Japan before they got to WWE. I know we had Festus, and I know we had people like that, but these two, as a tag team and as like stars, were made in New Japan, and it shocks me that it's been like he's just like, especially to be like, if he'd have had an honest conversation and said, "Look, I've signed with WWE. This does fuck your plans up a bit. I can't honor what I was doing." Fine, but the fact he's just like, I'm just gonna ignore it. Yeah. If I ignore it, he'll stop ringing. Trust me. Like, that's the shit way of doing it, and I'm quite surprised at that. But it would seem that the championship, the never openweight, I believe, is going to have to be vacated, and I don't know if they're going to course correct a little bit, maybe do a bit of a tournament on the night of their pay-per-view to deal with that. But yeah, it looks like he's not showing because he's not answering them.
Yeah, not great.
No,
not the most professional thing.
And let's be honest, we all know why he's doing it, because you make him more money out of Saudi. And it's funny because there was a tweet a little while back, actually, I think from Doc Gallows. I don't know that guy. Right. actually think it was from him, where they said about like, will you ever go back to WWE? And this was back in 2020, and he was like, fuck that. Like, and it was something along the like, oh, maybe when I need a new pool or something, or maybe when I need a pool fitting in my house, or something, like some sort of tweet. I'm paraphrasing. And it was like, ha ha ha, and now he's come back for a big money Saudi match, and you're like, oh, okay, so it is about money.
Yeah, I mean, of course it is. Like, you know, let's be honest.
No. I mean, let's be honest. Like, it is about money in the bottom line of it, but let's not pretend it's all about the love of wrestling. You know, when they're not in WWE.
No,
because when the big money gets offered, this is what happens.
Well, yeah, exactly. Obviously,
and I'm fine with that. It's business, but don't pretend like it's not.
No, obviously they did the whole Talking Shop Mania thing, didn't they? You know, their own little pay-per-view thing that they had. They had AEW, they had Impact. So I think they're the only people who've ever worked like all the promotions in the same year, kind of thing. So fair play. They've they've gone around the circuit, but what a shitty way to handle the title situation. Like, if you're you're the champ, you have a duty to uphold to kind of defend that belt.
Exactly.
And if you then sign on somewhere else,
for those who want to read the full statements, I think Frightful. Fuck's sake, again!
Every time! Fightful, Halloween. Halloween.
Okay, that worked.
The pumpkins were...
I'd love it if they changed their handle for the day just to justify me. Fightful Select have put out the statement on their socials, so you can actually read the statement from New Japan. And it's essentially that. He's not communicating with us and we don't know what to do, and we apologise.
Which is... I don't know. It's not great, is it? Let's be honest. So I don't know. I think, yeah, money seems to have prevailed here, unfortunately. But what a shitty way to kind
This is the real money in the bank.
Well, yeah, but I mean, to be fair to New Japan, it's like it's shitting on their belt, isn't it? It's like,
oh yeah,
they've
basically not even worth defending.
Yeah, so not ideal. And obviously, New Japan have been trying to handle it in the best way possible. They've not kind of gone, he's a cunt, we want it back. They basically said, look, we booked him. It was all agreed. It was all signed. It was all done. He's now since signed for someone else and now says he can't make the date. We hold our champions to high esteem. And, if he doesn't show, we're going to strip him. So,
yeah. It's interesting though, because you imagine there's legal ramifications there. You gotta have some confidence in WWE's legal team to go, fuck him. Because he's, like you say, it must have been like contracted in some way. Because so many people, again, in the comments, everyone's an expert, and it's like, oh, that's what they get for putting a belt on someone who isn't signed to their company. And it's like, I'm sure there was some sort of contractual agreement over defending that belt and over being at that pay-per-view. So I don't think it was as rogue as that. He just chose to not do it.
Yeah. But like, I don't think WWE will take the brunt of anything because they've just signed the guy. Ultimately, it's him who's got the obligation. Yeah. So
crazy stuff. And it also kind of affects, when people are going, is there going to be a relationship between New Japan and WWE? You go, well, this doesn't really help that.
Doesn't bode well. They may have retweeted something a couple of weeks ago, but it's probably just to be like, hey guys, we're cool. Can we please have Karl back for the fucking pay-per-view? So we will see.
But interesting stuff.
Shitty, to say the least. Yeah, that was the segment. No, that was
shitty to say the least.
that was the news this week. Yeah, very varied set of news. A lot of things going on. A lot of intrigue as well for Bray. Obviously for SmackDown. Obviously there's a lot of stuff going on there with his uncles and all that. So we'll see where that leads.
Uncle.
At this point, why not? So we will see what happens there. Obviously Dynamite we got going on tonight. Another stacked show it seems. But yeah, again, it's a stacked show. Good wrestling matches, but what's it really?
There's no place for it in the podcast. But how good was that MJF back and forth with Regal?
That was good. That was very good. It's the kind of things you want to see. You know what I mean? It's the kind of things we've been saying about AEW of like, yeah, they have great matches, but there's nothing really progressing the story. And it's like, because now off the back of that, it's like, well, what's going to happen? Because MJF has been like, he didn't turn on Regal, he didn't hit him when he had the chance. Are we going to get MJF and Regal's team? Are we going to get MJF? Is Regal going to be in his head? He's not going to be able to go through with it.
I'm calling it right now.
Come.
Regal's turn on the Blackpool Combat Club.
Is he though?
Yeah. He's gonna be MJF's mentor. He's gonna pass MJF the Nooks.
Or is MJF gonna be so inoculated with Regal and being like, I have to do this clean, I'm not gonna cheat. He has the opportunity to win in a bad way, but he decides, you know what, I'm gonna win proper, and that fucks him over.
The line I enjoyed the most though was Regal getting the brass knuckles out. He's gone. I didn't use these because I need to. I use these because I like hurting people.
Yeah.
You fucking maniac.
Yeah. I love it. I fucking love it.
Regal's an absolute legend.
Yeah, the pair of them, I think, put on a compelling but like truthful promo. It was obviously stuff that's happened in actual life with MJF and NXT. So yeah, a lot of. I think that's when it does the best, when there's like reality to it, you know.
But again, people jump on it straight away, even when it matters and it's relevant to the story. Oh, they can't not mention WWE, can they? It's like it's not the same.
No.
I'll agree. When AEW just take a random shot at them, it's shit. But that was relevant. It was relevant to the history between those two. It just happened to be in WWE.
Yeah. What again, not in the news. We probably could have added this. What did you make of apparently Billy Gunn could have been on WWE if only WWE would have referenced AEW?
It's mad really when, and I know Road Dogg's got no control over this, but when the suggestion was made that we did everything we could to make it happen, it's like referencing AEW is not the worst thing you could have done. It wouldn't even really affect your product. Like, for the sake of Billy Gunn being there, I think that was probably the thing to give. It's a shame. It's a shame. And you understand, like, I kind of, like, I don't care what people think in terms of, like, oh, they should have not been that petty and so on like that. Tony Khan's kind of a petty dude. I totally get why he asked them to do that. Because it won't. I don't even think it would have been a Billy thing. He'll have gone, yeah, you know, he's a star with AEW, so you reference AEW, he's going to show.
Does it give them more validation in a sense? Because, you know,
I suppose in a way,
mentioned Impact.
They don't want to.
The Knockouts champion Mickey James, they've done that. They mentioned New Japan. Yeah,
the fact they don't want to mention, like, it shows you that sadly the relationship is probably as sour as he's made it out to be, and so a lot of that is down to Tony because he's like, well, fuck you then.
Yeah,
but still, for me, it's like,
come on, fucking money.
That's all I need. But yeah, for me, I think it's not an unreasonable request. It's like even if it's, I don't know what the details were, but let's say Billy comes out in an AEW t-shirt. Is that the worst thing in the world?
I don't think so. But yeah, I'm sure the wrestling world would have got into a bit of a tizzy. They've been like, oh, Daddy Ass is there. Yeah, speaking
honestly,
of which,
I'd love for them to go wholesale and go, Billy Gunn could be there as long as the Acclaim can. As long as they could come out with him.
But yeah, obviously in no way affiliated with the Acclaimed, and we suggest you check out our new merch on ProWrestlingTees.com.
We got one!
Because we suggest you rock, paper, scissor, me motherfucker.
Yeah, we'll get better at that as time goes on.
But yeah, new shirt, rock, paper, scissor me, available now on Pro Wrestling Tees. So check that out. Obviously, if you haven't seen it already, we spoke to Neil from Top Rope today. We have some wonderful beers here that we have
all the beers.
Could you tell that mainly me that we're twatted out of our asses?
I mean, to be fair, the mango is my can. It's just over there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
fun episode.
Indeed, you get a bit more insight into Top Rope and what they're all about, what they've got planned for the future, and you know, as we always say, they're fantastic beers. We always really enjoy them. I thoroughly enjoy the Papa Mango, as people well know. If you want to get your hands on some, I believe the store is going to be reopened in a few weeks' time. It's currently down for maintenance. But if you go on to topropebrewing.com right now, you can see what's going on for their birthday events. You know, so in terms of what events they've got on, how you can get tickets for them, etc. And then in a few weeks' time, you can actually get access to the store again and buy some more beers. And when you do so, put in A to the K10 and you'll get 10% off.
Absolutely. Fucking brilliant.
I know, right? Sound a proper professional.
You do that every time. It's like me like bollocking through it.
So good at this.
But also, if you are watching on our Pro Wrestling Tees right now, nope, Pro Wrestling TV. Damn it! If you're watching on Pro Wrestling TV right now,
watching on a t-shirt,
shut up. Thanks. If you're not, if you're watching us on YouTube, we suggest you go and check them out. It's absolutely free. You can download the app now. You can get access to us as well as many other, you know, amazing things in the world of professional wrestling. You have Women's Wrestling Army, you have Control Your Narrative, you have Warrior Wrestling, you have our local promotion, TNT, wrestling documentaries.
Just signed MLW exclusively to their platform.
Breaking news.
Which I believe is going to start in November, but they've released today a one-shot for MLW to give you a bit of an introduction of what content they've got coming.
Absolutely. So yeah, a major coup for them. And yeah, thanks very much for staying tuned. If you haven't already, check out our interview with Neil at Top Rope, and also check out Get the F Out. So it was a segment we enjoyed doing.
Thoroughly enjoyed.
Other podcast and wrestling creators.
I'll say it right now. Right, I think Get the F Out has got massive potential. I love doing it. It was hours of fun. But if you don't fucking watch it, I'm not doing another one.
Please feed Anthony's ego. It was his concept, original concept from Anthony.
Stolen from
Enjoy
TV.
it. Original concept.
A unique
so
premise.
check it out. But no, it was a lot of fun. It was nice to, the first time ever, catch up with other shows and podcasts. I know we've had a lot of requests over the years, and we've just kind of been just like, no.
No, I mean, we were new to the game. We were sort of finding our feet, and it's one of them where we've just been trying to do so many different things that we always wanted to like deal with the podcast, and we always interact on social media all the time. And this is the first time we've been able to collab properly, which has been fantastic. Both podcasts are amazing guys, like Cheap Pop Wrestling. Hours of fun. Obviously, both Northern British lads, so there's a lot in common there in that sense. And then you got Nikolai.
From the name we can't pronounce the podcast.
Yes, but I got Nikolai, and again, it was so interesting just talking to Nikolai about obviously the like Denmark and the wrestling scene in Denmark, and he was saying about like he was so enthralled with the community that there is online, because the wrestling community is so much smaller in Denmark, and it was just interesting hearing about his thoughts on it, and how much sort of he enjoys, like, not just obviously being on shows with other podcasters, but being part of like the fantasy faction that we've got on social media, which again you can find on our socials. You can find on Cheap Pop Wrestling, who are the creators of the fantasy faction. And yeah, it's just great like collabing with these wonderful content creators.
Well, that's it. So to Anthony's point, if you enjoyed it, let us know, because hopefully we'll do a couple of more in the future and bring on some more exciting guests for you as well in the podcast world. But yeah, another fun-filled week. So thank you for watching the news. And as we said, check out, obviously, Get the F Out. As we've just said, we do appreciate you checking out us, as well as the Nikolai and Cheap Pop Wrestling that we had on the show. Go and check them out as well. And yeah, fun-filled time for all. And until next week, bye.